and welcome to the English Literature Department at the Raymond Gardiner High School. This morning we will speak to Miss Marguerite Anderson, a fascinating literature teacher here, and she will tell us some of what she has been doing with our children to broaden their knowledge and get them interested and engaged in the subject.
Okay, thank you. Well, I must tell you that it is known that literature is a highly shunned subject by our students, and therefore it is my task to ensure that I come up with dynamic ideas, methods to sell literature to them. So here I have on display the work of my students from first year to fourth year. Now, these are my babies. This is the work of first formers who they're just being introduced to the subject. Now what we have here is a storybook quilt based on the novella The Pearl by Ian Seralia. What is a storybook quilt? A storybook quilt is simply bits and pieces, just like the olden story about how quilts are made. They tell a story, right? So each student is assigned a specification for the fabric that they need to cut and create a scene from the pearl. And after each student presents their work, then the pieces are stitched together.
Oh, and it becomes...
Yes, now it's a small group. It's a small group, so it's not much of a quilt. But I am very pleased to see some of the creative ideas coming out in the students'
And we can see the concept here.
Indeed.
Quite clearly.
Okay, here now, this is third form work, and this is based on the study of Green Days by the River. Now, one of the beauties in literature is that literature exposes you to the culture of other territories.
Yes.
I tell my students that literature is a way of traveling to other countries without paying for a plane ticket. And so Green Days by the River focuses a great deal on Trinidad and Tobago, their rich culture of music, agriculture, and even the prejudices between Creoles and Indians, that kind of a thing. Now what they had to do is to incorporate the information in the text about the culture, and then they had to create brochures selling the setting being Pier Hill, selling Pier Hill, Trinidad and Tobago, to a tourist. Okay? So all the information there, the images of the food, all of this came from the text. It's information that they have, pulled out from the text, and they have put it together in creating their brochures. And as you see, each person has his own unique way, his own creative expression.
How useful are these resources to your class?
All right, now here at Raymond Gardiner High School, we are the only high school on North Caicos. In fact, we house the students for North and Hill. And I must say we have very limited or next to no resources. So for the time that I've been here over the years, what I have attempted to do is to create resources, but I don't do it independent of the student. I actually allow the students to be part of the process of creating teaching and learning resources. In fact, many of their resources, they're already on the World Wide Web. Yes, and other schools, other students, other teachers can benefit from them. And not just that, but the students for the years following, when they come, then I have resources to use as aids in teaching the subject. Now over here, this is a far more elevated level of work, because this is a CXC group. This is a fourth form group. And this happens to be a very strong fourth form group. They are studying To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Now, what they've been asked to do is to focus on the themes in the novel, racial prejudice and injustice, and to focus on the characters. And they are to find 5 songs and connect the these songs to the specific theme or character that they are exploring. Now, this is not an easy task. It requires a great deal of analytical engagement. And as you can see, they had to create the CD. On the CD, they actually have an audio teaching about the song. They have an audio teaching about the novel, yes, and how their songs connect to the novel.
Are they restricted with how they select your song, like a genre?
Actually, I encourage them to be varied.
Yes.
Because what I want is for the history of the times to be coming out, the civil rights movement, the kind of music, the genre of music of that time, but at the same time, they're not restricted only to that genre. Because, I mean, some of my students, they use like Man in the Mirror.
The Beatles.
Yes, the Beatles, Bob Marley, there you go.
They're all different eras here.
Exactly, you have Lady Gaga.
Different eras.
Till It Happens to You.
Variety.
You have John Mayer. Indeed, from this exercise, I myself have learned a lot about the music and the artists, and how much their work mirrors the issues in the novel To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay. When did your students connect the themes with these songs, with the themes?
Exceptionally. As you can see, there is a score sheet here.
Excuse me.
Judging various things, and the maximum score being 120. And you can see that some students even got the perfect score. Yes, you see where this student got a total of 102 out of 120, Carmaine Simmons. So I'm very, very impressed with their level of work. Okay, now let me just move on. Over here is second form level work, and I asked for the students to create a character box. What is a character box? As you can see, the chart explains. The character box is simply a box that they have decorated, and the decoration or the picture is supposed to sell the character that they are exploring. Of course, the audience should be able to tell what character they're exploring as long as they have effectively demonstrated with the appropriate pictures. So you see here the mask for the dramatic arts. You see the pot, the witch's book. You see the globe that the witches look in. So you know that, as it says, you're to guess which character is being presented. You know that here the focus is on the witches, and we are focusing on the story called Murder at Dunsinane. Now this is another learning resource that the students, through assignments that they were given over time, I was able to put a resource together showing the students acting out the stories or giving presentations on their character box. So it's very interesting because the Enchanted Island is a collection of short stories. So they were at liberty to choose any story at all, any story at all. The focus here is on the story called Murder at Dunsinane.
Quite dramatic.
Very dramatic. These are our own students, you know.
Yes.
Our own students over the years. And we put them all together straight up to performances last year. Yes?
Do you find that the students are infused with the audiovisual?
They are. They really are. In fact, they feel so proud when they see themselves sharing on the World Wide Web. Sometimes they say, I surprised myself. I can't believe I did so well. But while the struggle with literature still continues, the important thing is that they are engaged. It is not going to produce what I want to produce overnight, but the important thing is to sensitize them, not just to the literature, but to the history behind the literature. I tell my students that history and literature go hand in hand. So every time they're studying literature, they're actually learning history as well.
As we can see, you are planting seeds that we might not necessarily see the fruits today, but definitely our students will reproduce this for the future. Now, the highlight, I want us to speak a bit about Lea-Beima,
okay.
A student that seems to be an exceptional literature student.
She is.
And I would love for you to tell us about these books, her work, and what you have been doing with her over the years.
Okay. Lea-Beima Dorston came from Adelaide, Omla, and the moment I got her in my class, in first form, I recognized her amazing talent for writing. Now, having recognized that, I began to work with her to harness her skill. And amazingly, she has already had a number of her work published. For 2 consecutive years, she entered in the Turks and Caicos Tourist Board Youth Exclusion. Her work placed 3rd in the first year and 2nd last year. And she has written poetry for the Director of Culture, David Bowen, who demitted office when the Performing Arts honored him. And she has performed her poetry in Providenciales.
She's a writer.
Yes, she is. In fact, these are 2 books published in England with her work. As you can see here, Raymond Gardiner High School, Lea-Beima Dorston. Right? And page 162, she is, as I told you, her vocabulary is prolific. Here she writes about the earthquake that took place in her country. Sometimes, yes. And the devastating effects of it even years after when she returned. Yes? And it's a very impressive bit of literary work. And again, this is her more recent publication. I believe here it is on page 36. Yes, her Thanks Mom. Sister, an organization hosted a Mother's Day event last year, and she did a dramatic presentation of this poem, and it was published. Now, when a work is published, for us here on this small island, at this kind of Raymond Gardiner High School, it is a big deal to have a student put our name on the map.